Right guys, I'm literally just holding the edge of the mini tripod here, so I apologise. This is a surprise unboxing. I'm not going to put what it is. Yes, Archie, I know you know. I'm not going to put what it is on the box, on the title, or in the description. Sorry if I ramble all the way through. It was just something I'm really looking forward to. I'm looking at the thing now. Really looking forward to working on this project. I know, how many more? Please take a look at the video. If you don't like that type of stuff, I understand. It's just Gav going off on a tangent, as usual. But I just, it's all connected with what I do. So it's not that off on a tangent. It's just I'm doing so much other stuff as well. It's not Warlord Epic. It's definitely not 13mm. So take a look at the video. I didn't came at the same time. I forgot, well, not at the same time, but on the same day as in today. I got that. I did get the Warlord Epic Rebel Confederate sprue come in. We'll have a look at that, but I'll give it a couple of days. I'm flooding with your videos, I understand that. So we'll give that a couple of days just to get that under the count. Only one of 7-minute videos, probably like the last one. So thank you very much for watching some of this video, or saying, nah, not for me. I totally understand. So thanks a lot, and we'll see each other soon on another video. Alright guys, I'm not going to do the intro until I've actually done the unboxing, because I'm not sure how I was actually going to run with it. So we've got our couple of Chaos Khorne Berserker type Space Marines that I've been painting up. Oh, I know they're probably not to how Games Workshop aficionados know them, but they were practice, and I don't tend to stick to things anyway. But so that's a clue to what's inside the box. And before anybody starts getting too excited, no, there's no oh, what's that one? Oh dear me. I see. Didn't sleep again last night, so I've completely lost my train of thought. Forge World was the word I was after. No, it's nothing like that. This is a bit out of my comfort zone. What happened was, doing the usual eBay cruising, and I was looking at some 40k stuff, and this didn't prop up, another Space Marine propped up, and I thought, oh yes. Oh dear me, this is another side alley to go down. I've got to have a go at this. So I got this from Comics and Cocktails. I got it. I didn't get it direct from them. I got it from their eBay. I think I actually paid £5 more than getting it from them direct. But I couldn't see a PayPal, and I used my PayPal. So first impressions are it's well packed, and yes, it obviously comes in a box. And I can use the box again to send off for other things. The eagle eyes amongst you would see that it's more in a box than it is in a... No? Should we rephrase that? More in a box than in a box? You know what I'm on about, like a display box. Sorry for all the noise. I don't normally do these type of unboxings, but here we go. Oh yes. What do you think about that? Can we go back a bit further just to get the... Oh, we've got the light ribbon in there. There we go. For the uninitiated, and I was until a few months back, this is a Sister of Battle. Now the Space Marine chapters don't have women in them, so they've more or less started up their own chapters. I know 40k is, stay with me, I'm not brilliant at this type of stuff at the moment, but I have been listening to a lot of audio books on YouTube, free ones. A Border Prince, give him a shout out because he does some great work. Yeah, I got this one purely because it was the cheapest. This is what they call an artist's proof. It's made by McFarlane Toys. Now I've been doing a lot of looking at there because they do some fantastic action. Let's hold her up like that for a minute. They do some fantastic action figures, but they seem to be pre-painted. Now I don't know if Games Workshop have said to them. I mean, they do these pre-painted as well, but you know, they're never as good as you could do them yourself, are they? So when I saw that a couple of guys had got their hands on, they were doing Space Marines and Chaos Marines, I think, but they do Orcs. They more or less do Tyranids and more or less everything from the 40k universe, really. I presume they'll expand it as time goes on. The only thing I would have liked to have had the option to have had a face on there, because I do love painting faces, but hey ho, you know, you can't have everything. So this is an artist proof. It's obviously in the raw plastic. I've seen somebody else's, I don't know if they did this one, I think they did a Space Marine, but you'll have to demold line stuff on the bolter, chainsaws, all that stuff. I probably won't do it completely chapter specific. I'm an artiste, so I'll do my own embellishments on things, but I couldn't resist having a go at this. Now it is like an action figure, so that it can pose, and it's got a little stand. I'm not fussed about posing. If it came like that with, you know, well, you know, if you, I suppose you'd want the arms to be in a shooty pose or something, but I will take it apart. Not so much, I don't believe, I'm having to watch what other people do because I haven't a clue. It would appear that you pull the arms out, you put them in hot water to soften the sockets, and I believe that Games Workshop have maybe, I don't know if it has come from Games Workshop in the sense that they've said, you know, I know all our followers would like to customise them, so give them some unpainted options. So how about it, Justin, Cal, anybody else out there? Do you fancy doing a what are these giant? I don't know how big they are. I think they're are they about 7 inches? I don't know. There you go. I was going to say it's got some on the back there. I should have shown you that. Should know it would have been easier. I've been looking at different chapters of the Sisters of, no, not Sisters of Silence, sorry, but the Battle Sisters. And they do obviously all the different legit chapters. Obviously you can make your own up. I will try and stick in with a legit chapter. I did think of doing one of the main ones with the black armour and that, but I want to do maybe some embellishments and stuff on there. So let's make some noise and crack her open and oh, maybe that didn't sound right. You know what I mean. Let's open the box and take a look. Right guys, I'm not sure, in fact actually, forgive the roller coaster wheels, I'll just put this other light on, it would help. There we go, that might make it even better, you never know. Right, I think they're about 7.5 inches tall. Forgive me again everybody that knows McFarlane's, I'm a 50-odd-year-old guy who's never been into large scale figures or anything, so I'm a painter of figures, but not like action type figures and that. What holds me to these type of figures is I can do what I want on a larger scale. Now if I was to buy this as a resin, I'm not on about, I think they call them statues, I'm not really up with all the terminologies, but like the resin statues from Hot Toys and people like that, I could never afford those in a million years. You know, I haven't got, is it a couple of £100 to a couple of £1,000. So the action, I think the action ones obviously because the arms move and stuff like that, but it's the figure, it's the scale of the figure itself that attracts me. And now I know they do lots of other type of stuff. If this one goes all right, I'll be doing some others. I'm not going to get the display stand out. It was not stuck down, but put down with something. I can't be bothered at the moment to get it out. But obviously it stands on a circular base. But what I'm intending to do with this because I shall do this, have the fun of doing it, and then see if anybody wants to buy it off me. Again, I've always got to try and make a living, but as soon as I've done that, I'll reinvest in another one. It doesn't have to be 40k, it could be... Well, in fact, saying that, I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I've never collected any of the Star Wars Black Series. I just don't collect figures in that sense. I paint busts and some resin display figures and stuff, in military stuff, but nothing like this. But I just think it's going to be an outlet for me that I can paint and convert other figures. I'm not really into the, what they call them, the soft, is it soft? Well, anyway, they put material clothes on them, and this isn't knocking anybody that does it. I just think for me, you can do a great face repaint and stuff, but the jackets and ties, everything just looks out of scale because the stitch work has to be bigger, and I actually prefer a figure I can completely paint more or less, because that's where I come from. I'm a figure painter, so when I say conversion, it's more if I think something needs to be puttied on, you know, I'll do that rather than actually you know, like making or buying in clothes and stuff for them. As I say, this one came along. I paid £15 off eBay, but I believe they're selling these on sale for a tenner. And I think that came with, I'm not sure if that came with a post or not. I'm not sure if it did or not, but that was from Comics and Cocktails. I've never used them before until now, but if that's anything to go by, that was well packed in a box, as you know what my pet dislikes are for jiffy bags. So, if you've never seen these before, this is actually says it's a McFarlane, or Farlane, I'm not sure how you pronounce that one. I would call it probably McFarlane over here, I would have thought. It said something about Bandai on the side as well, so what Bandai's got to do with it. It's made in China, of course. Let's just go through some of the materials. Right, we'll go with the bolter. I mean, look at this bolter. Look at the rounds in that bolter. I mean, they're big in 40k as it is, but my life. So, this is our bolter. I mean, we've got it, you don't have to drill that out. Yes, I know, you probably are going to have to drill out the... Actually, you probably would have to drill into the plastic a bit. I don't know. We'll work that out. We might just paint it black. But, yeah, again, you're going to have to remove the mould lines and inject pouring marks or pin marks, whatever you want to call them. But that's solid. That's solid. And so is the chainsword. I just think that chainsword. Oh, my little fella. Well, in the Altered Chaos realms, all them big demons are giant size, so maybe that isn't... Oh no, she's not a demon, but yeah, there's a little sword. If it took me, how long did it take me? 10 days? 2 weeks? I have no idea to paint them pair. Sorry, Archie's on one of them missions today, clippy-clopping all around the place. But yeah, I just think that's great. Is it straight? There's a very slight bend, but we might be able to get rid of that with some hot water. In fact, I think it wants to bend back into shape already. No, that's not too bad. We'll sort that. Right, as for the girl herself, yes, there is a girl under there somewhere. What do you call it? Loincloth? I'm not sure. that's in like a rubber. How it'll take paint, I'm not sure. I'm intending to paint all this in lacquer paint to begin with, and then we'll use our acrylics. A lacquer primer on that will stick like glue, hopefully. Again, I'm going to have to work out how it all goes. What I'm intending to do, if the paint will adhere, I want to do some put some emblems and stuff into this. We've got some like brocading at the bottom. Cool. Can we see any of that, Gav? There we go. So we've got some brocading at the bottom. You could just go with that if you wanted to. These are rubber. The knee parts are rubberized as well, slightly harder than this, but obviously the same material. The belt is rubberized. There's a couple of bits of heavy mold lines on because it is soft rubber. Again, how that's going to actually take, I'm not sure. A chest area, that feels slightly softer. That one feels slightly harder. Helm is hard. Tubes is hard moulded. This is great. This is just by my grubby fingernails. These are hard moulded. With all the action figures, it's not. Oh, these are. No, we've got more material that we painted as material. That's hard moulded as well. About part of the belt there with the beads, worry beads and all them stuff. That's soft, and this is all hard moulded as well. I just think if it'll take, I mean, from what other people have been doing, I haven't seen loads of them, but I've seen some on Instagram, and people tend to go for the main, obviously Space Marines first, but I just think this has got a lot of possibilities, with the iconography. I'm just wondering whether I'd do non-metallic metal on this. Could take a while, but that's what I'm saying. You've got a figure there that's cost me, including the postage, I think it was 15 quid. Did I see? I've gone off tangent again, haven't I? I've got a Black Series Star Wars figure I've got a bid on at the moment. I'm hoping I get that because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And I thought that now that's obviously painted, and I've got to decide how I go about repainting them. I mean, she's going to have a really, you can feel obviously you've got mold release agent in that. But I mean, how complicated is that? See, even when I was into Action Men as a kid. You're talking a bloke in his mid-50s now. So back in the 70s, and I was into Action Men, but not, and I had a few, although I was a huge Star Wars fan, we never had a lot of money, and Star Wars toys, they were expensive, like, for me anyway. So I never I think I had about 3 in my entire childhood. But you can get, like, those Black Series are around 6-inch. I'd have preferred the slightly taller ones, but I'm hoping that I can do something with that. I'm not going to go into that because I might not win the bid yet, but if we don't, I will get one. But again, with me, I'm just buying them cheap, and obviously I'm trying to do with faces. This was a bit different. I didn't think, I'd done my research on her and I knew that she didn't have a face, but it's a shame really. I wish I know we always want something extra, but I'd have liked to if they could, because this head will come off with a bit of heat on it. When it will have to anyway, because it's all going to be done. There's a hell of a lot of nooks and crannies in there to paint that you're not going to get. You're not going to get to by removing other stuff, if that makes sense. Like behind these tubes, you're just going to have to get in there somehow, make it as neat as you can. But my idea is, I'd like to do these. I do have some room to display stuff. But I'd like to actually try and, as I say, I'm a painter by profession, you could say. I mean, that's great. It's even got some of the battle damage and stuff, and you could do more into that if you wanted to. But I'd like to maybe do a series of different figures from, popular culture, I suppose, if you want to call them that way. and have fun doing them, and then sell them and do another one. I'm still obviously going to be. I'm actually. I keep saying this. I'm just deciding whether I actually set up another channel, because I know there's a lot of people aren't going to be interested in a thing like this, and that's fair enough. As I say, it's not for everybody. I didn't even know they existed. Life passes gav by, but I don't watch a lot of stuff. I'm up here with my busted brain. I'm up here just painting and modelling and stuff. You know, I very rarely watch any TV at all. I watched a couple of football matches last week in the FA Cup, and that's the first time I'd sat down with my wife and actually, not that she was watching it, but you know, watch something down in front of the TV. I just don't anymore. If it's not on YouTube, I don't really see it. That's what I said with the superheroes. I don't watch superhero films, and yet I would love to paint statues and, you know, this type of scale and the 12 inch ones. I just love painting, and I love painting different things and different colours, different textures. As I say, this will be interesting. I've never worked with this type of material before, and there's a lot of rubberized stuff on there which I will do my best to remove. But we know what it's like trying to remove mould lines from soft soldiers, if that makes sense. And you know, those 1-in-72s, they can be a nightmare to remove mould lines on. So I'd imagine that some of the more rubbery stuff isn't going to be kind to me, but we shall see. This could take a heck of a long time. You know, we'll see how it goes. Will Gav run out of steam? I don't think so. As long as I can take it apart and get it back together again. That's the main thing. That's where it could all go wrong. Again, I'm going to have to watch a couple more videos. I don't think you pop them out of these joints. I think you just remove the leg. I might be wrong, but I think that's the case. I've been looking at, since I ordered it, I've been looking at Sister of Battle artwork. And yeah, I just think that is going to be so much fun. I've got no problems brush painting it. I mean, I might airbrush some bits, especially to give us a first smooth base after the primer. It depends. There's a lot of other stuff, you know. It's I'm not great with my airbrush, so, but at the same time I can see the airbrush getting in parts where maybe the brush won't. So lots of questions yet to be answered, I think. But colour wise, we'll wait till the next video whenever I've stripped this and washed it. I mean, I see lots of mould release agent down there, down on the neck, so it definitely needs a good scrub. Might even, and I'll give it a fine sand over, I think, as well. Get some wet and dry on there, just to give the primer another reason to key. So watch this space. I had to put this up. I know I've just done this literally came, I knew it was coming today. But I'm really chuffed with that. As I say, you can get this if you go on. I've got no affiliation to. I keep even forgetting the name. Comics and Cocktails. You know, it's just who I bought it with. But as I say, if you wanted one, I think if you get them direct from them, they're about a tenner. I don't think you can go wrong with that. And you can get some of the Space Marines and other Chaos stuff. I think they got some Tyranids for about the same price, or 15 quid or something. And there are other sellers out there doing the same thing. So if you want to paint along, shout out. If you fancy getting something, it doesn't have to be the Sister of Battle, it can be one of the others. If you want to do a paint along, what do they call them? A collab, a collaboration. Yeah, great. Body build, body paint, I don't know. I don't think you'll all be rushing to the... I don't think you'll be rushing to join in, but hey, the invitation's there if anybody's interested. Right. But I might, as I say, I might do this one on this channel, and if I can make it work, I might do a second channel for I don't know, some call it repaints of some description, I suppose. But yeah, as I say, I'm not a particular collector, and I just don't have the room to do hardly anything like that. But I think if you want to paint larger scale figures, yes, I can get a resin figure from like El Greco for different genres of sci-fi, fantasy, historical, whatever, but they tend sometimes they're based on films and that, but a lot of times obviously with the IP and that you can't do that, so you have to then go to like the ones like the Hot Toys and all them that do the statues, like the big resin statues and that, and they're brilliant, but you've got some deep pockets to collect that stuff. And especially for someone like me who then wants to repaint it. I could just see my wife's face if I paid 400 quid, not that she'd ever let me, but 400 quid for a statue and then repaint the whole thing. It's brand new. So yeah, something like this, you can get a cheaper fix. You know what I mean? That you can get these for, again, if you other main sellers type of thing might, might, what it fluctuates in price, but you can get these for 20 quid, 25 quid, but you can get most of them for just under 20 quid. You might have to pay the postage in that, but yeah. Again, it depends how much work you want to put into them. If I could get them as statues rather than articulated, I was looking at statues earlier on that I could afford, and to be honest with you, there weren't many. So I might have to stick with just doing action figures, as in so that without movable. But it's the painter in me doesn't like to see the joints. But I know that runs against all the action figure collectors out there. But if I do a paint job on a figure, it's not to be handled. Does that make sense? It's it's a full-on paint job. I'm not expecting people to be bending. I'd have to put a health warning on that. You do that, no matter how well it's painted, the paint's going to go at some stage. So yeah, we'll cross that bridge. As I say, first time, I've got to see how it all works, how it comes out. So I think, first of all, watch another video one last time so I get it right, to learn how to take this apart with my big heavy sausage fingers just busting everything out. But yeah, going back to it, I think they're a fairly inexpensive. I know everything's got a price on, especially in these days, and here's me buying this and people can't afford to put electricity in the meter, but at the same time I'm going to get the fun out of doing this, and then hopefully I'll sell her on as a display piece, and I can pass over some money to my wife, and that softens the stairs when from when I go and buy another one. Right, I'm waffling, guys. That was my unboxing of McFarlane's Warhammer 40,000 Sister of Battle. As I say, it says on the back here, obviously officially licensed product, distributed by Bandai UK Limited. So, and as I say, if you don't want to do a full, what they call artist proof, so one of these grey ones with no paint on, you can buy them pre-painted, and you can always just do some washes and scratches and battle damage and all that stuff. It's but as I say, we can all have loads of fun, and I've got some of these to paint. Not these ones; these were just some old ones I'd got as test figures. And I've just built some bases for them. If that makes sense. That's why it's taking a bit of time to show you. They can have some primer on, but I'm a painter, predominantly a painter, and I like my scale modelling as well. But what I mean is, I'm not gaming 40k. I'm just enjoying painting that and the Age of Sigmar and Horus Heresy and stuff. So to be able to have the option of painting a giant one. So again, I know he's in his yeah, you really are in the warp if you've got to come up against something like that. Right, I'm sorry, I'm waffling again. I better shoot a face to camera entry. Starting point, am I, on this video, I suppose. Right, so they're going to be even longer. Right, I'm now going to turn this off, go and say hello, Tubesters, and but anyway, we'll catch each other very soon on another video, but I will try and leave it a couple of days this time.